The lights of the grand annual corporate dinner blazed bright and dazzling, illuminating every luxurious corner of the five-star hotel banquet hall. It was the most important industry gathering of the year, gathering top investment institutions, senior industry experts, cooperative brand executives, and core enterprise leaders in the domestic design circle. Every seat represented status, resources, and industry discourse power. Tonight was supposed to be my night. All the core original design systems, brand visual IPs, and milestone project works that made Tinyu Design become a dark horse in the industry in 3 years were all my painstaking creations. I am Shun Wan, the real founder and core technical pillar of Tinyu Design. I gave up my overseas elite employment qualification, sacrificed my 3 years of youth, buried all my talent and glory in the most inconspicuous corner of the company, and quietly propped up the entire enterprise. But tonight, the person standing on the award stage holding the annual Outstanding Designer Trophy, accepting the industry's applause and media spotlight, was not me. It was my biological younger sister, Shinshi. The younger sister I had spoiled, tolerated, and supported with all my strength for 20 years. Since childhood, my parents had been extremely partial to my younger sister, Shinshi. They thought she was young, delicate, and good-looking, while I was introverted, dull, and only good at studying and designing. All the delicious food, new clothes, and pocket money at home were given to Shinshi first. All the housework, grievances, and sacrifices were forced on me. My parents' lifelong creed was family harmony and elder sister's humility. They kept instilling in me the idea that as an elder sister, I must unconditionally give in, sacrifice, and accommodate my younger sister. My excellence should be used to pave the way for my younger sister, and my achievements should be used to glorify my younger sister. I was kidnapped by this distorted family emotion for 20 years. I worked hard to get full scholarship in college, studied design professionally with top grades, and accumulated industry resources bit by bit, not for myself, but to satisfy my parents' expectation that the elder sister will pave a golden road for the younger sister. I met Lu Tingyu in my junior year. He was ambitious but powerless, with no background, no resources, and no core technology. I was moved by his superficial sincerity and hardworking appearance, and foolishly thought I had found a partner who could understand my hidden efforts. I used all my savings to help him start a business, used all my original design works to support his company's initial project iteration, and used all my accumulated teacher and alumni resources to help him connect with industry cooperation. In order to stabilize the company's reputation, I took the initiative to hide behind the scenes, gave up all personal fame, and let Lu Tingyu stand in front of the stage as the company's home. I thought I was exchanging sincerity for lifelong companionship and family warmth. I never imagined that the two closest people in my life would unite to stage the most thorough identity theft in the most cruel way. Shinshi was lazy and unwilling to study since childhood. She failed in professional examinations repeatedly and had no independent design ability at all. But she was greedy for vanity and longed for the elite aura of a top designer. She had long coveted my talent, my achievements, and my position beside Lu Tingyu. Under the guise of family affection, she came to my company every day, pestered me to teach her design skills, and secretly copied and archived all my unpublished manuscripts, project drafts, and creative manuscripts. And Lu Tingyu, the man I had trusted and devoted to for 3 years, chose to betray me completely for the company's reputation and immediate interests. He knew clearly that all the core works belonged to me. He knew that Shinshi was completely incapable of creating such high-level design works. But he was moved by Shunshi's deliberate coquetry and temptation, and coveted the younger sister's youthful beauty and obedient personality that I never had. The two reached a dirty private deal secretly. Lu Tingyu completely erased my name from all project files, design manuscripts, and industry declaration materials. He registered all my original works, patented designs, and core creative concepts under Shinshi's personal name. They jointly fabricated a resume for Shinshi, packaging her as a talented young designer who had studied hard and made breakthroughs independently, and completely erased my 3 years of hard work and all my industry contributions. What's more shameless is that they reversed black and white and framed me as a workplace parasite who relied on the company's resources for nothing, and even slandered that I had long been plagiarizing Shinshi's creative ideas to complete my work. My parents also stood firmly on Shunshi's side under the influence of vanity and long-term partiality. They publicly accused me of being narrow-minded, jealous of my younger sister's excellence, and unwilling to dedicate myself to my family. Tonight's annual dinner was their final public trial against me. On the bright stage, Shinshi was wearing a custom haute couture dress, holding a crystal trophy, her face full of proud and bright smiles, accepting continuous applause and flashing lights. The host's passionate voice echoed in the entire banquet hall. Congratulations to our youngest outstanding designer, Shinshi. With her unique creative perspective and top-level design strength, she has created countless classic works for Tinyu Design, leading the enterprise to break industry records repeatedly. She is a rare design genius in the new generation of the industry. Lu Tingyu stood beside her, his eyes full of doting and approval, and took the initiative to hold Shinshi's hand, accepting media shooting together. Shinshi is the most precious treasure of our company and my most trusted partner. All the achievements of Tinyu Design are inseparable from her silent dedication and persistent innovation. Every word was a blatant lie. Every praise was a blatant theft of my life's painstaking efforts. I stood alone in the dark corner of the banquet hall, wearing the most ordinary employee uniform, watching the two people who stole my life shine brightly on the stage, while I became the most ridiculous joke in the audience. Just as the applause gradually subsided, Shinshi took the microphone and pretended to be modest and grateful, but her words were full of deliberate targeting and frame-up against me. Thank you to the company's platform and President Liu's cultivation. Along the way, I have also encountered many difficulties. There are always colleagues around me who are jealous of my opportunities, try to copy my creativity secretly, and even block my project progress privately. But I always believe that strength can prove everything. As soon as these words fell, all the eyes of the audience focused on me in an instant. The whispering and mocking voices of the surrounding colleagues spread to my ears one after another. It turns out that there are people who plagiarize in the company. It's too shameless. No wonder she has made rapid progress. It turns out that someone has been secretly copying her ideas. Looking at Shunwan's dull appearance, she looks like the kind of person who is jealous of others and plays tricks secretly. All the dirty pots were buckled on my head completely. My years of silent dedication were completely denied. My exclusive creative identity was completely erased. My family, my lover, my career, all fell into the abyss of betrayal and slander at this moment. The long-term family emotional oppression and workplace identity theft completely crushed the last trace of softness and compromise in my heart. For 20 years, I accommodated my sister, gave in to my family, compromised with my lover, and buried my talent and light for the sake of so-called family affection and love. But what I got in return was endless exploitation, unscrupulous theft, and blatant betrayal. Enough. I have compromised long enough, endured long enough, and been wronged long enough. Since they covet my identity, steal my achievements, and trample on my sincerity wantonly, I will completely pull off their glamorous disguise in front of the entire industry, retrieve all my stolen glory, and let every betrayer pay the most painful price. Chapter 1 Family Emotional Kidnapping, 20 Years of Silent Exploitation. The dinner ended amid noisy discussions and endless pointing at me. Shin-Shi and Lu Tingyu became the hottest focus of the whole audience, surrounded by countless people to congratulate and flatter. And I became a notorious plagiarist and jealous villain in everyone's mouth. As soon as I got home, I faced the endless accusation and emotional kidnapping from my parents. My mother sat on the sofa with a cold face, her tone sharp and unreasonable, full of partiality that had never changed for 20 years. Shinwan, what's wrong with you tonight? Why are you so ignorant? Your sister just won the industry award, which is the glory of our whole family. You don't congratulate her, but you let others gossip and make the family lose face. My father also frowned severely, and his words were full of moral kidnapping. As an elder sister, you should take the initiative to hold up your younger sister. Your sister is young and has a bright future. It's only right for you to give way to her and help her. How can you be so jealous and narrow-minded? I stood at the door, took off my coat calmly, and looked at the two elders who had never treated me fairly in my life, and finally asked the question that had been suppressed in my heart for 20 years. For 20 years, what have I not given way to her? My voice was calm, without anger or hysteria, but it broke all the false family harmony completely. When I was a child, she wanted my new school bag, I gave it to her. She wanted my scholarship bonus, I gave it to her. She didn't want to study. I helped her finish her homework and write papers for 3 years. I got the top design admission qualification of the key university. You let me give up the independent enrollment quota to her. I obeyed. I saved 3 years of college living expenses to buy my first professional design computer. You let me give it to her because she wanted it. I agreed. I entered the workplace and worked hard to accumulate resources. You kept saying that I should pave the way for my sister, and I never refused any request from my family. All my life, I've been compromising, giving in, and sacrificing, but Shin-Shi has been taking everything from me wantonly. Why do you still think I am not good enough? Still think I am jealous? Still think I owe her? My parents were stunned by my calm questioning, then became more angry and unreasonable. She is your younger sister. Family blood is thicker than water. What's wrong with you sacrificing a little for your sister? Your sister is born delicate and needs protection. You are older and more capable, so you should naturally take more responsibilities. You are so capable. Won't you have more opportunities in the future? Your sister's success is your success. Why are you so fussy about gains and losses? This is the most typical toxic family emotional kidnapping. They turn the elder sister's lifelong sacrifice into an unshirkable obligation, turn the younger sister's greed and laziness into natural weakness, and use the so-called family affection to bind me forever, making me a stepping stone for my sister's success. At this moment, Shin-Shi walked into the room gracefully with a trophy in her hand, with a grieved and innocent look on her face. Sister, I know you are in a bad mood tonight, but I really didn't mean to rob your opportunities. Those designs are really my own efforts. Don't be angry with me, okay? She pretended to be humble and tolerant in front of her parents, but her eyes were full of provocation and arrogance towards me. She was clearly stealing my life's achievements, but she pretended to be a victim of elder sister's jealousy. My parents immediately felt distressed when they saw her aggrieved appearance, and turned to accuse me fiercely again. Look at how sensible your sister is. She won the award and still thinks about your feelings. Shinwan, you are really too selfish. Apologize to your sister immediately. Facing the whole family's unanimous targeting and moral kidnapping, the last trace of family affection in my heart was completely exhausted. I looked at my parents coldly, my eyes firm and without any hesitation. I have nothing to apologize for. From today on, I will no longer compromise, no longer sacrifice, no longer be the tool person of this family. Shenxi's achievements are not my glory, and her success has nothing to do with me. All my life's hard work and identity belong only to myself. If you insist on favoring her indiscriminately and kidnapping me with family affection, then we will cut off all family ties completely. As soon as these words fell, my parents were furious, thinking that I was crazy and rebellious. Cut off family ties? Shenwan, dare you? We raised you for 20 years, and this is how you repay us. Just because of a little trivial matter, you want to break off relations with your family? You are unfilial and cold-blooded. I smiled coldly, without any fluctuation in my heart. I have been filial for 20 years, and I have sacrificed enough for this family. From today on, I will take back all my sacrifices and stop paying for your partiality and her greed. After speaking, I turned around and left the home that had trapped me for 20 years, without a trace of nostalgia. The door closed gently, completely isolating the noisy and selfish family behind me. From this second on, I bid farewell to my past self who was humble, tolerant, and bound by family affection. My female growth road of breaking free from shackles and retrieving self has officially begun. Hashtag Chapter 2 Workplace Identity Theft, the most shameless conspiracy. The next day, I returned to Tinyu Design Company, ready to completely sort out the truth of identity theft. Early in the morning, the company was full of gossip and pointing fingers. After last night's annual dinner, the rumor that I was jealous of Shenxi and plagiarized her creativity had spread throughout the company and even the entire industry. Many colleagues who had been helped by me in the past turned to alienate and slander me, fearing that I, a plagiarist, would implicate themselves. Shenxi arrived at the company early, sitting in my exclusive core designer office that had been occupied by her recently, accepting the flattery and compliments of new and old colleagues. She leaned lazily on the office chair, holding the trophy in her hand, and her every move was full of the vanity of a winner. When she saw me walk into the company, she raised her chin proudly, with a triumphant smile on her face, and took the initiative to provoke me in front of everyone. Sister, you're here. Did you figure it out last night? Don't be jealous of me. As long as you work hard and don't copy others' ideas, you can also make achievements one day. The deliberate words made the surrounding colleagues burst into low laughter. Lu Tingyu walked over at this time, his face cold and severe, completely without the tenderness he had when he was with me in private. He stood beside Shenxi domineeringly, protecting her in his arms, and publicly reprimanded me with the most severe workplace double standard. Shenwan, your behavior has seriously affected the company's atmosphere and damaged the company's reputation. The company has decided to suspend your job for investigation. During this period, you are not allowed to touch any core projects or design materials. All the core design work of the company will be fully taken over by Shenxi in the future. You only need to be responsible for the most basic, trivial auxiliary work. This is their real purpose. After completely stealing my identity and achievements, they wanted to completely deprive me of my workplace rights, suppress me to the bottom of the workplace, and let me become a useless employee who can only do trivial work forever. They wanted to completely erase my existence in the design industry, so that Shenxi could sit firmly on the throne of a talented designer forever. I looked at Lu Tingyu, the man I had loved and trusted for 3 years, and felt extremely ridiculous in my heart. He knew all the truth clearly. He knew that every design draft, every creative concept, every project breakthrough was my painstaking effort. He knew that Shenxi had no ability to create any core work at all. But for his own career reputation and the temptation of his sister's vanity, he chose to help the thief frame the original creator. I looked straight at him, my voice clear and powerful, resounding in the quiet office. Lu Tingyu, do you dare to ask the Industry Association to conduct a public technical review? Do you dare to let everyone check the original manuscript creation time, the draft modification records, and the early creative conception notes of all award-winning works? Do you dare to check the earliest backup files of the project, the server operation records, and the client communication design drafts 3 years ago? Every question hit the core of the truth directly, making Lu Tingyu's face change slightly. Shenxi's expression also panicked instantly. She knew clearly that all her glamorous achievements were stolen. Once the original files were checked, all her disguises would be completely broken. She quickly pretended to be wronged and hid behind Lu Tingyu, her voice trembling deliberately. Brother Tingyu, sister is still unwilling to admit her mistake. She insists on slandering me for stealing her achievements. I'm so wronged. Lu Tingyu immediately softened his heart, completely ignored my questioning, and reprimanded me more severely. Enough. Shenwan, stop messing around. The industry award is officially recognized, and the work belongs to Shenxi. Your unreasonable disturbance is meaningless. If you continue to be stubborn and slander your colleagues and damage the company's reputation, I will directly dismiss you and see you for commercial slander. Threats and suppression, blatant shielding of thieves, unscrupulous protection of imposters. I completely saw through the ugly faces of these two people. They thought that by controlling the company's internal data and blocking all internal investigation channels, they could completely cover up the truth of identity theft. They thought that with the official award aura, they could make the whole industry recognize Shenxi's false identity forever. But they underestimated my persistence and my preparation for my own career identity. For 3 years, every creative draft, every conception note, every modified record, every early hand-painted manuscript of mine has been backed up in multiple encrypted cloud disks and offline hard disks by me. All the creation time records are accurate to the minute, and all the creative logic and iterative processes are complete and traceable. These are the ironclad evidences that no one can tamper with, and the strongest proof of my real identity. I looked at the two flustered and hypocritical people in front of me, and the corners of my mouth raised a cold and sarcastic smile. Fine. Since the company refuses to investigate publicly, I will apply to the National Design Industry Association for an official public review. I will let the top industry experts judge openly who is the real original creator and who is the shameless thief who steals identity and achievements. After speaking, I turned around and left the office neatly, without giving them any chance to quibble and to threaten. Lu Tingyu's face was extremely ugly, and a strong sense of unease surged in his heart for the first time. He originally thought that I would be defeated by public opinion suppression and workplace suspension and compromise silently like before. But he didn't expect that after breaking off family ties, I became so tough, decisive, and fearless. Shen-Shi was even more frightened, clutching Lu Tingyu's sleeve tightly, her eyes full of panic. Brother Tingyu, what should we do? If the industry association really investigates, everything will be exposed. Lu Tingyu suppressed his unease and comforted her perfunctorily, but his heart was already full of regret and panic that he didn't want to admit. Don't be afraid. The award has been issued, and the industry's public opinion has been finalized. She has no evidence to reverse the situation. But he knew in his heart that he was deceiving himself and others. The real evidence has always been in my hands. Chapter 3 Female Awakening, cut off all toxic ties. In the next 3 days, I stopped all meaningless workplace disputes and devoted all my energy to sorting out evidence and applying for industry public review. During these 3 days, my parents kept calling and sending messages to bomb me, continuing to kidnap me with family affection. They either scolded me for being unfilial and rebellious, or persuaded me to give up the investigation for the sake of my sister's future, asking me to swallow all the grievances silently and let Shen-Shi hold the false glory forever. Shenwan, your sister's future is more important than your temporary grievance. If the identity theft scandal breaks out, the whole family will be disgraced. You are the elder sister. You should take the overall situation into account. Give up the investigation, and we'll treat you well in the future. I looked at these ridiculous messages and completely blocked my parents' contact information without hesitation. For 20 years, I have been taking the overall situation into account, but no one has ever taken my grievance and future into account. Toxic family affection is not a fetter worth clinging to, but a shackle that needs to be completely broken. After cutting off the family's emotional kidnapping, I was completely free and focused on my counterattack plan. At the same time, Shen-Shi and Lu Tingyu were not idle either. In order to prevent me from reversing public opinion, they took the initiative to contact the industry media, released a long article of grievance, and packaged themselves as innocent victims framed by vengeful colleagues. They used the company's public relations resources to continuously smear my reputation, fabricate my workplace bad records, and discredit my personal character, trying to completely cut off my industry survival path before the official review. Many uninformed industry insiders were misled by public opinion and began to criticize and resist me. Some cooperative companies even took the initiative to terminate the intention of cooperation with me for fear of being implicated in the so-called plagiarism scandal. The pressure on me reached the peak in an instant. But this time, I did not collapse or compromise because of external pressure. On the contrary, all the suppression and slander made my will more firm and my mind more sober. This is the necessary road for female growth. Only by breaking through all external shackles and false bindings can we truly retrieve self-worth and stand firm in the world by our own strength. I sorted out all the ironclad evidence completely and systematically. First, tens of thousands of original hand-painted manuscripts and electronic drafts of the award-winning works, with creation times spanning 3 years, with complete iterative modification traces, which can clearly prove that I am the earliest and only original creator. Second, the early project communication records and creative conception reports submitted by me to the client, which are far earlier than Shen-Shi's so-called creation time. Third, the server backup files and cloud disk automatic backup records of the company in the early stage, with accurate timestamps, which completely overthrow Shen-Shi's false creation resume. Fourth, the private chat records between Lu Tingyu and me 3 years ago, in which he repeatedly praised my design talent and asked me to create core works for the company, clearly proving that all achievements belong to me. Fifth, the witness statements of the early founding employees of the company, who have long known that I am the real core designer behind the scenes. All the evidences form a complete closed-loop chain, which is sufficient, rigorous, and irrefutable. After sorting out all the materials, I formally submitted an application for public review and reputation recovery to the National Design Industry Association and applied for a public hearing in the industry hall. The Industry Association attaches great importance to this suspected major identity theft and achievement plagiarism case and quickly approved my application, announcing that it will hold a public industry hearing 3 days later, inviting all industry experts and media to supervise the whole process. As soon as the news came out, the entire design industry was boiling. Everyone was waiting for the truth of this top industry award dispute. Shen-Shi and Lu Tingyu finally panicked completely. They could suppress internal company public opinion and mislead external media rumors, but they could not tamper with the ironclad original evidence and block the official industry review. Lu Tingyu began to regret frantically. He finally realized how stupid his original choice was. He abandoned the most talented, most dedicated, and most sincere partner, and chose to protect a greedy, lazy, and shameless thief. He erased my identity and achievements for the sake of momentary beauty and vanity, and pushed himself into the abyss of industry scandal. He began to take the initiative to contact me repeatedly, wanting to apologize and reconcile, begging me to withdraw the application for public review. He sent a large number of apology messages, humble and regretful. Wanwan, I know I was wrong. I was confused for a while and was misled by Xinxi. I didn't mean to steal your identity and achievements. Forgive me, okay? As long as you withdraw the review application, I will restore all your positions and honors, double your salary and bonus, and publicly clarify all scandals for you. We can go back to the past. I will treat you well in the future and never be partial again. Facing his humble repentance and temptation, I only felt extremely ridiculous. When he joined hands with others to steal my life's achievements, frame my reputation, and erase my identity, he never thought of forgiving me. When I was wronged and slandered by the whole industry, he was enjoying the glory brought by my achievements with others. Now that he is facing collapse and crisis, he wants to reconcile with a few words of apology? It's too late. I directly blacklisted all his contact information and ignored all his entanglement. The road of counterattack has been opened, and I will never stop for anyone's regret and pleading. Hashtag Chapter 4 Public Industry Hearing, Full-Scale Workplace Face-Slapping. 3 days later, the National Design Industry Public Hearing was held on time in the Industry Exchange Hall. The scene was full of industry authoritative experts, senior enterprise leaders, official media reporters, and industry practitioners, with real-time live broadcast covering the entire domestic design circle. This is the most concerned public review event in the industry in recent years. Xinxi and Lu Tingyu arrived at the scene early, still trying to maintain their glamorous and perfect persona. Xinxi wore a delicate dress, with a weak and aggrieved expression on her face, pretending to be a poor designer framed by jealousy. Lu Tingyu stood beside her, always protecting her, publicly emphasizing that all works belong to Xinxi, and accusing me of malicious competition and framing colleagues. The media at the scene took photos continuously, and the live broadcast comment area was still full of doubts and accusations against me misled by early rumors. Until I stepped onto the hearing stage alone. I was wearing a neat and capable professional suit, with a calm expression and firm eyes, without the slightest fluster and grievance of a victim. Facing the full audience and global live broadcast, I started my evidence presentation calmly and methodically. I projected all the original hand-painted manuscripts, electronic draft iteration records, cloud disk timestamp backups, early client communication materials, and witness statements on the big screen one by one. The complete creative chain spanning 3 years was clearly presented in front of everyone. Every line of design traces, every modified detail, every creative conception note is the most powerful proof of my identity. The industry experts at the scene watched the evidence carefully, and their expressions gradually became solemn and clear. The live broadcast comment area also completely reversed in an instant. The creation time is 3 years earlier. This is completely the original creator's trace. The iterative logic of the work is completely consistent with the female lead's usual creative style and has nothing to do with Xinxi at all. It's terrifying. It's a full-scale identity theft. The imposter has been enjoying others' achievements for 3 years. The previous rumors are all false. The real talented person has been hidden behind the scenes, and the thief has gained fame and fortune. Facing the ironclad evidence, Xinxi's perfect disguise completely collapsed. Her face was pale and bloodless, her whole body trembled constantly, and she could no longer maintain her weak and innocent appearance. Lu Tingyu's upright and just enterprise helm persona was also completely shattered. He stood on the spot, stiff and speechless, completely unable to refute the complete evidence chain. I stood on the stage, looked at the 2 people who had stolen my life, and launched the final fatal blow. All the core award-winning works of Tingyu design in recent years, including brand IP design, project visual system, and innovative creative concepts, are all my independent original creations. Xinxi has no participation in any core creation. All her so-called design achievements and industry honors are obtained by stealing my identity and works. Lu Tingyu, as the person in charge of the enterprise, knowingly assists others in stealing creative achievements, tampers with work attribution, and frames the original creator, which constitutes serious industry fraud and academic misconduct. I request the Industry Association to cancel all false honors of Xinxi, retrieve my creative identity and industry reputation, and punish the 2 for industry irregularities in accordance with official regulations. My voice was clear and powerful, resounding throughout the entire venue. After expert group review and official verification, the Industry Association released the final official appraisal results on the spot. After rigorous technical comparison and time source verification, all disputed works are confirmed to be independently created by Xinwan. Xinxi has no independent creative contribution, and all her industry honors are obtained through theft and fraud. The association officially announced, cancel all honorary titles of Xinxi, include her in the industry blacklist, permanently ban her from engaging in any design industry-related work, issue a public criticism notice to New Design, order the enterprise to make a public apology and rectify within a time limit, and record major industry misconduct in the enterprise credit file. The moment the official result was announced, the whole audience cheered. The 3-year stolen identity was completely retrieved. All the wronged reputations were completely cleared. The workplace face-slapping counterattack achieved a perfect and thorough victory. Hashtag Chapter 5 Complete Retribution, Regret of the Betrayers. After the public hearing ended, the industry's scandal completely exploded across the network. Shen Shi became a notorious industry thief and fraudster overnight. She was permanently banned from the industry, lost all her glamorous aura and elite identity, and completely became a laughingstock in the circle. The vanity and glory she had stolen for 3 years vanished in an instant, leaving only endless infamy and shame. New Design's reputation collapsed completely. A large number of cooperative brands terminated their cooperation, investment institutions withdrew their capital one after another, the company's capital chain broke instantly, and employees resigned in batches. The enterprise that had just become an industry dark horse fell into the abyss of bankruptcy in just a few days. Lu Tingyu lost his career foundation, industry reputation, and all his achievements. He went from a promising young entrepreneur to a fraudulent businessman spurned by the whole industry. All the brilliance he owned was built on my talent and dedication. After losing me, he had nothing at all. My toxic original family also completely collapsed in public opinion. After the truth was exposed, everyone knew the family's 20 years of partiality and emotional exploitation. The parents' behavior of indulging the younger daughter to steal the elder daughter's achievements and kidnapping the elder daughter with family affection was criticized by the whole network. The relatives and neighbors who had always envied Shen Shi's excellence and praised the family's harmony all changed their attitudes and pointed at the family everywhere. My parents lost all their face in their social circle, fell into endless verbal abuse and regret, and could only hide at home every day and dare not go out. They took the initiative to find me many times, put down all their dignity, knelt down to apologize and beg for forgiveness, hoping that I could forgive my sister and save the family's reputation. Wan, we know we were wrong. We were too partial and ignorant, and hurt you deeply. Forgive your sister and your parents this time. She can't live without this industry job. We won't dare to kidnap you with family affection again. Please help her. Facing their tearful pleading, I was completely calm and indifferent. When I was wronged and slandered by the whole industry, when my identity and achievements were stolen, when I was framed as a plagiarist, you never thought of forgiving me and protecting me. You chose to stand by the thief's side, accuse me of being unfilial and jealous, and kidnap me with family affection wantonly. Today's ending is the retribution you deserve after 20 years of partiality and exploitation. From today on, our family ties are completely broken. You no longer have an elder daughter like me, and I no longer have toxic family like you. After speaking, I turned around and left, completely cutting off all contact with the original family. No more emotional fetters, no more self-sacrifice, no more being bound by false family affection. Lu Tingyu's regret reached the peak after the enterprise collapsed completely. He finally realized how precious the person he abandoned and hurt was. I was the one who held up his entire career with my youth and talent. I was the one who silently tolerated all grievances and sacrificed all glory for him. I was the most sincere and precious person in his life. But he was blinded by momentary vanity and partiality, chose to steal my achievements with others, destroy my reputation, and erase my identity. He lost his lover, his career, his reputation, and his future with his own hands. He began to chase after me humbly every day, waiting for me to forgive him, begging for a chance to start over. He gave up all his pride and dignity, apologized in front of my company every day, and tried every means to make up for his mistakes. But I never gave him any chance to approach. The broken trust can never be repaired, and the hurt suffered can never be erased. His endless regret and humble pursuit are the most deserved crematorium ending for a betrayer. Hashtag Chapter 6 Independent Growth. Stand on the peak alone. After breaking off all toxic family ties and abandoning hypocritical lovers, I started my brand new career life. With the official retrieval of my creative identity and industry reputation, my talent and strength were completely recognized by the top of the industry. Numerous top international design companies and high-end brands took the initiative to send cooperation invitations and high-salary employment offers. I refused all job-hopping invitations and chose to establish my own independent design studio. Relying on my solid professional strength, complete creative system, and good industry reputation, my studio took on top core projects at the beginning of its establishment and quickly became a new benchmark in the industry. I no longer hide my talent for anyone, no longer bury my light for false love and family affection. I won numerous international design awards, stood on the global industry podium, and became a well-known top designer in the industry. I have achieved complete financial freedom and spiritual independence, no longer rely on anyone's protection, no longer compromise for any relationship. Looking back on the past 20 years, I was trapped in toxic family affection, bound by false love, and buried my talent and light in endless sacrifice and compromise. I was once a tool person for family vanity and a stepping stone for other success. But after experiencing betrayal, theft, grievance, and counterattack, I completely woke up and grew up. True female growth is never relying on others' favor and pity, but breaking all shackles by oneself, retrieving self-worth with strength, and controlling one's own life trajectory. I experienced family emotional exploitation, suffered identity theft and workplace betrayal, but I did not collapse and sink. On the contrary, all the sufferings have tempered my will and made me stronger, calmer, and more independent. I use strength to defeat hypocrisy, use truth to crush lies, and use independence to replace dependence. Hashtag Chapter 7 Finale. All regrets belong to others. All glory belongs to me. Now, I stand at the peak of the industry, shining brightly and admired by thousands of people. I have a successful career, independent personality, and free life, and no longer have any trivial troubles of family disputes and emotional betrayal. And all the people who once hurt me have fallen into the abyss of regret and despair. She lost her career and reputation, and can only live in the shadow of thieves and fraudsters for a lifetime, suffering from endless ridicule and spurn. My parents lost their most excellent daughter and family dignity, and can only spend their old age in endless regret and self-blame. Lutinho lost his career foundation and lifelong love, trapped in the endless crematorium of chasing and regret, watching me shine brightly from afar, but never having the qualification to approach again. They stole my identity, trampled on my sincerity, and exploited my dedication, and finally paid the most thorough and painful price. This life, I bid farewell to all false fetters, complete independent female growth, retrieve all stolen glory and identity. No family partiality, no lover's betrayal, no workplace grievance. I walk alone on the road of life, fearless and brilliant. All regrets are left to the betrayers, all peaks are conquered by myself.